Welcome to the launch of our open mic series, Impact of AI, Quantum, and Robotics on Jobs. My name is Helen Teplitskaia. I'm a founder and president of Global Alliance on Sustainability and AI, which I founded in 2024 to facilitate development and implementation of AI systems for good that respect human rights, support sustainability of environment and humans, protect jobs, peace, and foster global economic cooperation. Today, I'm very fortunate to be joined by a star team of speakers. Christopher Bishop, TEDx speaker, Qubit Confidential host, ex-IBM, and author of an exciting book, Improvising Careers, Succeed at Jobs That Don't Exist Yet. Malak Trabelsi Loeb, CEO of Vernewell Group and founder of the Quantum Innovation Summit, and really leading expert on legal aspects of space and quantum law, which is just emerging. And I applaud Malak for being such an innovator and such an enthusiast, particularly in quantum, space, and now maritime areas. Philip DeLeon, President, Trade Connections International, and author of just recently published book, Navigating the Job Search Arena, a pragmatic and practical guide to finding your path. Highly recommend this book for all those who are looking for jobs now in this interesting job environment. Sara Nagy, artist, entrepreneur, angel investor, until very recent time, ex-Microsoft, and now a person who really inspires me and a wonderful role model for everyone who is in the process of reinventing to a new career path. Today, we're going to discuss one of the most vitally important issue of joblessness. There are many opinions on how AI, quantum, and robotics impact jobs. Some esteemed experts go as far as to expect that by 2030, up to 99.9% of jobs will be gone, with just 5 professions surviving. I respectfully disagree with this assessment, and our speaker team also does not believe that this kind of development will happen in this kind of a timeline and at such scale. Today, I discussed it with my hairdresser, Kayla, in Washington, D.C., because nobody is immune, and the job situation is going to impact everyone. And I reassuringly told her that, Kayla, no matter what happens, hairdresser profession will always be in demand. And she looked at me and said, Helen, but if everyone will lose jobs, they will have no money to come to our salon. And that's true. Again, nobody is immune. We all need to urgently engage, rethink our own attitude to our skill set, to our education, and engage in promoting the notion and actually executing it that we need new proactive policies to protect jobs in a meaningful way, without stifling emerging technologies, to help all of us reskill, to radically change the education system globally, and most importantly, again, for us, all of us, with no exception, to get out of our carpe diem mode where we live in the moment and understand that we constantly need to learn and catch up. With no further ado, I'm delighted to represent my co-host, Testi, the director of GASAI technical education, and the founder of AI for Marketers. Tom, the floor is yours.
Improvising careers, succeed at jobs that don't yet exist. Good afternoon, Christopher.
Tom, thank you, Helen, for inviting me to join you. I'm delighted to have this conversation. I want to say I'm a bit of a economic historian, right? So my take is on robotics and AI and quantum is that they're going to generate a new set of jobs. They're certainly going to require new skills, but it's a pattern that we've seen for literally hundreds of years, right? Technology driving opportunities. I I do lectures at universities, and one of my opening slides calls out the fact that we've been using technology ever since we were wandering around in the Pleistocene wilderness, and the technology consisted of a long stick with a sharp end. And today, fast forward to 2025, we're manipulating subatomic particles to store and capture data and share it immutably. I think a key idea to keep in mind is that, as I'm quoting Tim Riley, he's a publisher, he produces tech events periodically. His contention is as long as there are problems to solve, there'll be jobs. So all of these three technologies are going to be helping us solve problems. Again, back to the Pleistocene era quote, there's a great story about an issue in the UK. One of the monarchs refused to issue a patent for a mechanized knitting machine for fear it would put her poor subjects out of work. And in fact, it was Queen Elizabeth I in 1584. So all by way of saying, we've been having conversations about technology disrupting work styles and the way that people use their skills for, hundreds of years. I also want to mention I saw Jensen Huang recently, right, the NVIDIA CEO on a Bloomberg event, and he was saying his take is as long as humans have ideas, there'll be jobs. So I think it's an exciting time to be involved with work and careers and the future of technology driving new skills and new opportunities. So I think I'm optimistic that these tools, again, are part of a pattern and we're going to be able to leverage them. There's always a shadow, as Scott Anthony says. There's good things and bad things you can do with bleeding edge technologies. But again, my take is that we're going to do really interesting, positive things that will transform how we live and work, especially with quantum. I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. I've been in this business myself as a software engineer for 40 years. So I saw when typewriter salesmen lost their jobs because of computers. I've seen, newspapers lose their job because of the internet. So I'm total agreement with you on that. Um, are there meta skills that are applicable across these merging technologies?
I think a key skill that can be learned and nurtured is curiosity, right? Driven by asking questions. Always be asking questions. That's sort of how I've navigated these 8 careers so far, by being curious, by wondering what's next, and being aware that I have transferable skills, but then I'm going to have to acquire new skills, and that's ever the case. The example I cite again in my lectures and in my book is I was a professional bass player. I toured with a rock band in the 70s, opening for the Eagles, ZZ Top, Fleetwood Mac, Frank Zappa, Weather Report. Moved to New York to become a studio musician. And in 1985, music became data. By that, I mean the advent of drums, samplers, sequencers, MIDI, musical instrument digital interface, meant that one person, one guy or gal with a rack full of gear could roll into a studio and do the whole track, do the whole record, do the whole jingle. And it sounded good. It sounded good enough. So I bought a Mac Plus and bought some software and learned how to compose on a computer and
Mm-hmm.
learned how to stripe an 8 track with simply time code so it would chase lock the picture when you're laying in sound effects or other aspects of a TV commercial. It's like I knew how to compose, but I didn't know how to run a computer. So again, transferable skills and net new skills that are required. That's a pattern that's been going on forever and will continue to go on.
Exactly. Yeah, because I remember kind of the day the music died when Believe by Cher came out and auto-tune, and now everything's like perfect. You go back to an old Led Zeppelin album and you can hear the mistakes.
Yeah. Some intonation issues for sure.
Yeah. How do people prepare to take advantage of these new technologies as well as the new ones that will follow?
Well, so I developed something in my book. Here's unabashed self-promotion that I call the Future Career Toolkit. It has three tools: voice, antenna, and mesh. Voice uses semantic intuition and triggers to determine what your proclivities are. What's your favorite TV show, movie, book, or game, and what about it resonates with you? So you take those findings, then you go to the second tool, which is antenna, and look for where conversations around those topics are taking place. And it can be TikTok, can be elite newspapers, can be wherever information is going on around that topic, and put together a routine to monitor and manage how you consume that information. And then the third tool is Mesh, which is building out a data visualization example of a mega network, if you will. And
Mhm.
that's like finding the actual people, companies, organizations who are leading these conversations. I always contend there's always a Miles Davis in every discipline. So when I say that to young students, they're like, who's the Miles what? Yeah, he was like a legendary jazz trumpet player. Look him up, first of all. And then the corollary is, who's the Taylor Swift? Who's the LeBron James? Who's the Tony Hawk? There's someone at the top of every discipline. Start there and track down that person. Follow them, read their blog, check out their Substack, go to their webinars, go see them in person if they speak somewhere. So those are kind of the three tools. That's my approach.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you, but I'm also going to throw in, since I'm from Oklahoma City, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He's the next. He
So
won
sorry to
three.
interrupt this, but we are on a very strict
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
timeline
just
right
about to
now.
turn it over to you, Helen.
We have to have a session with just Chris to have unlimited conversation because he's such a treasure with everything pertaining far beyond the jobs. So
Thank you,
I'm not
Helen.
sure if Malak was able to join us.
Yeah, she's
Malak,
here.
oh, this is
Around.
great.
Around.
You
Hi,
wrote to me
Malak.
that you
To
have
my mobile.
connection issues, and I was so concerned that you will not be able to join us. But here you are, our megastar
We find
Malak.
all my solutions.
Welcome, Malak. So happy you're able to join us. So Malak
Thank-
Trabelsi, the CEO of Vernewell Group and the founder of the Quantum Innovation Summit. And she's an active participant in the NATO SME Tech Diplomacy. And she is a keynote speaker at quite a few events, particularly lately. And Malak, thank you so much for joining us. I'm kind of intrigued with what's going on right now. Do you foresee any new job roles, particularly in the MENA region? And what do you think MENA region's quantum computing sector over the next decade? And if you can forecast what's going to happen with the quantum jobs globally. So what skills should people prioritize if they are considering to getting into this sector? And do you believe that there is potential there? Because many people speculate that quantum is not scalable. That's why people should not invest, should not be educated. I categorically disagree with this approach, but it's actually somewhere it's even dominant.
Thank you, Helen, for the invitation. Actually, there is one missing link right there. Why I'm in quantum. Actually, I practice law. And it's very important. I'm a live example of how, as Chris, hi Chris, how are you? I'll see you soon in Dubai.
Yeah.
So, as Chris said, it's very important to as he said in his book, I don't recall the words, but improvising jobs. It's like, this is what I've done some time back. I started a second, let's say, career I was entrepreneur. I had my own business. I was into business arena, and I entered into the law. This idea of being in the law field a little bit older. So it's my second life, let's say. At that moment, well, I've done my bachelor a second time in law and economics, double majors. So it opened my eyes in two things. What are my problems? In a way, how can I have a step forward to be ahead from the others who started their law career at 21 years old or at 24 or whatever? I started it at my 30s. Late 20s, 30s, whatever. So I started even before I get into the into my bachelor studies. So in law and economics. So when I was there, I said, okay, I need to have some competitive advantage in order to find myself out there and being there despite I am late. And how I did it, I went for space. At that moment, when I was talking about space law, people laughed at me. I get in the law industry through being a partner in a law firm, and I wasn't like a business partner. So in that moment, I was okay. I'm here, I'm learning, but actually there is a missing link. I have a business background. I have all these kind of things. It's important to understand where I'm coming from and how I process this in order to be here today and talk about quantum. And so many people say, well, if you want to enter into the quantum arena in the region, you cannot bypass Malak. You need to go to see her in order to have some business intelligence, some help, some advices. And if you want to do business, also the same
And
thing.
not
And of
just
course,
in the
dual use
MENA
is very
region,
important.
not just in the MENA region.
Yes, I'm everywhere. I'm on a quantum state. So before going further to say anything about quantum, it's important to know how I came there for the other to understand my path, because it's very, very important. And
Malak,
I teach
hate to
space
interrupt
first.
you,
So I
but
start.
I hate to interrupt you, but today is the day when I have to be this mean Mrs. Robinson and cut people off because we have the open mic section. And it prompts me to believe that, yes, we absolutely need to have another session just with you, like just with Chris, because your life stories are so unique, but at the same time, they're so helpful for everyone to really understand how to overcome yourself, first of all, not just the circumstances, but yourself. Believe in yourself and be able to leapfrog. With this, I'm asking you your next question, which is somewhat linked to what you just tried to address, but please be very brief right now. In sense of there is so much bias right now. My brother is an attorney, and he keeps telling me, "Oh, very soon our profession will disappear because of AI." And the same pertains to many people in business. There is a lot of fear that AI is gonna really kick people out of these jobs. What do you think, particularly in the legal arena? And what do people need to do to actually stay afloat, to continue being in the profession and to preserve this profession with the human presence?
I go back to my background. It's what take me there is the foresight. So I see it coming, and it's like the main, it's not overcoming myself, it's the opposite, it's seeing further and having a foresight in order to be upfront despite anything else and despite the technology that's going to come. So actually, if you want to be in the law arena, you need to understand the technology. And from space, I understood how quantum would have impact and how AI would have impact. So actually, if there is no that mindset with a human being, you will be left behind.
Makes a lot of sense. And every time I'm asked to address gender issues, I always say that I don't believe in this gender inequality to an extent that women cannot engage with the professions where men used to dominate. And I hope I am a living example, very much like you are. But still, what do you think? How can AI, quantum, and robotics industries ensure inclusive job creation for women and youth? And, let's use MENA region as an example, but I would very much appreciate it if you could please briefly, but address it globally as well.
I live everyday discrimination. I live it every day. I see it. It's there, no matter what. Maybe it's the region, maybe it's not the region. Even with international experts, the same thing. They look at a woman, strong in character. She knows what she's talking about, or maybe she doesn't know what she's talking about. But in both cases, need to have respect and need to have the space for women in order to flourish and to move forward. So biases, human is it's a human nature. It's there, and this is a problem with the softwares. And actually, based on so many reports, the biases in AI software, it's there. And this is one of the things. If I'm talking about women in aviation, it's there. If I'm talking about women in space, it's there. So we don't want to make characterization and feed this kind of binary thing, which is men and women and this and that. But at the end of the day, it's there. And I think AI can solve it, but we need to solve our human problems first.
Well, thank you. I think for the first shot, you covered it, and maybe some of our open mic participants will address it as well. So with this, Tom, the floor is yours. Please introduce Philippe de Leon.
Okay, yeah.
Dear friend Philippe de Leon.
Philippe de Leon is the president, Trade Connections International, author of Navigating the Job Search Arena, a pragmatic and practical guide to finding your own path. Okay, Philip, AI is perceived as a great leap forward in many ways, but can you elaborate on the negative impact when it comes to filling positions?
Sure. Thank you for having me, and thank you everyone for being here. We all know that AI is transforming the job market and the job we need, but it's also having an impact on how we are filling jobs. And I wanted to address this on this panel because it is very important. Now everybody is using artificial intelligence. Let's start with the companies. So the companies, create an application, and then they receive a lot of resumes. Well, nobody reads them anymore. They are just going through what is called an ATS. It's an applicant tracking system, which is a software that will look for keywords. And if you don't put the right words or triggers, your resume goes directly to a wastebasket. So applicants know that, and as a result, they are creating resumes that if you use Grok or if you use ChatGPT or Claude, you can say, please incorporate improve my resume by taking into consideration this job description and create a resume and a cover letter. So then you have a resume that is created that does not necessarily match who you are. It seems like it, and you need to tweak it, but it really takes it away from what you really are, and then you send it. And then, well, everybody does that. And I applied for a job recently, and just today I asked for an update, and I was told that 600 people applied for that position. So the result of all of this is that you have a use of technology that results in every candidate looking like top notch when they are not, and companies using systems to sort through and ending up not picking up the best candidate. Because what AI does, which is good, it makes everybody look good by being articulate and address the point as you should. But unfortunately, it masks those that don't have those skill sets on their own, and those that have it and have the good requirements are not shining anymore. So the negative point, to answer your question, Tom, is that everybody all of a sudden appears like pristine and perfect when a lot of people are not. And as a result, companies end up choosing or picking out of a batch that is not necessarily the best batch. So long answer, but this is what I really wanted to say today.
Okay, I mean, that sounds correct, in my opinion. AI is perceived as a great leap forward in many ways, but can you elaborate on the negative impact when it comes to filling positions?
Well, that's, I believe, the the
Yeah.
question you just asked me. But the
Oh,
negative.
yeah, I'm sorry. My bad. AI is perceived as a great, wait a minute. Oh, that's okay. Do you think that those that who get the job are the most qualified or most apt at using AI to their benefit? So
Well,
twist a little bit.
I think we can give credit to people who know how the game is played and use it to their advantage. So, of course, they are not necessarily the worst, but they understand how the game is played. But unfortunately, I am not sure that the companies end up with in front of them the best resumes, the best candidates that they could reasonably have. They have people who come first because they know how to use the system, but it doesn't make you the right candidate. So you may look good, but you won't necessarily be able to play your part.
Well, Helen, you want to go on to Sarah next?
Yes, actually, one quick question. Eva, are you still here or not? We had Eva Cornell, who I wanted to cover AI agents. She had a hard stop at 2:30, so probably we'll have her next time. Anyways, Sarah, so happy you could join us. You're a true hero. You demonstrated, at least to me, how a person can reinvent herself basically on the fly. There was a cohort of people who were I hate to say let go, but who had to leave Microsoft, even though they were the best in the profession, the most loyal, talented. It's just the company policy. And what do people do with this kind of talent, with this kind of professionalism? How can people, because there are like maybe tens of thousands of people in this position. So which positions do you think are at most risk right now? And what could people do to get ready and actually ride this wave and excel? Squeeze the lemonade, if I may.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Helen. Yeah, I was part of layoffs in May at Microsoft. I'd been there 26 years, and I worked in the AI and quantum group. So like I think no, it doesn't really matter where you might work in a particular company. There are pressures that the companies are facing in terms of business decisions they're making. And so sometimes you're collateral damage, I don't take it personal, but I think, great question. I think repetitive rule-based roles are going to be automated first. But I agree with Christopher and I think Philip, I don't know if you touched on this, but new jobs will grow, I think, in areas like AI governance or new algorithms for quantum. We saw a lot of customers from various industries that weren't maybe quantum ready at this particular point, but it doesn't mean in the future that there won't be, needs for new algorithms in those particular areas. Robotics maintenance, there's a lot of jobs not in tech, but that involve technology, where AI can't do those jobs. And so you need a human, in the loop related to that. And so there's this expansion, I think, outside of technology, where we have to think about how our skills apply to those roles and how you can, help in terms of bringing technology maybe into that particular industry. But I think the key is it's shifting from job loss to job transformation. So there's a lot of skills that I learned and honed over the years at Microsoft that have nothing to do with technology. So building relationships, like I think that the number one thing, and I would maybe add to, Philip's comment, is I 100% agree there's this crazy vicious cycle happening with, the systems are looking for particular keywords. So people put in all the keywords. So it's basically garbage in, garbage out. Like you're putting a resume in and you're not getting great candidates. every role or opportunity that I've encountered or been approached by has had to do with my network. So building the relationships. AI can't build a relationship. It can't have coffee with you. It can't, understand about your kids and the culture of your company and, the strategies that you're trying to drive. Like that is a human oriented skill. And that's something that I think networking is going to be the insurance, in my opinion, against disruption.
This is so well said. Well, everyone talks about, you need to reskill, and without reskilling, there is no way you can continue staying in the industry because technology really evolves on the fly. So what do you think about reskilling? What practical strategies can individuals and organizations, because this is a two-way street. Individuals cannot reskill without organizations actually supporting this, being proactive about it. No
That's right.
matter how well-intended the individual is, there are certain software programs, there are certain instruments that are absolutely necessary beyond time. I'm somebody who has been reskilling myself all my life. But at the same time, there are moments when you really need this instrument to help you progress further. So what do you think? Microsoft is probably one of the companies where we at least hope, they're abreast of this. But we need to hear from you.
Yeah, I think a couple things. One, don't wait for your employer to tell you to reskill, to start to learn to reskill. And in that same vein, I think Christopher mentioned it, curiosity is the number one trait that I believe you can have that's going to help you related to reskilling. Having a curious mindset and experimenting with emerging tools, even just trying them. I bring up networks again because I think networks are important. Who do you know in a particular network that might have experience in these particular skills? But skills become outdated. So how do you continue to try the new tools? And then I think companies, organizations really have a role, in my opinion, to help prepare their employees. So one thing that I think Microsoft should be doing, and they do to an extent, but I think they should continue to be doing this, is instead of doing these massive layoffs, why don't they have and invest more in how do we retrain and reskill these people so that we can keep some of these tenured employees and repurpose them to another role or advance them to these other new areas that are happening. So like reinvestment and training and reskilling will help an organization through attrition. And, it's very hard to, when you bring someone in new, they don't have the, contextual knowledge of being in the company and seeing the goods and the bads, the warts and all, and understanding what works and what doesn't. I'm not saying that's always, you can't always rely on history, but having the context is super important in terms of AI can't give you that tribal knowledge of having been in the company for all these years. So how does the company invest in the people that are there? And yeah, of course there's attrition because, maybe a role just isn't fit, or doesn't fit for a particular person or their what they're looking to do. But it doesn't mean that you can't invest and advance these people in some of the roles that they're in.
Well, that's exactly, what I thought. And very few people now really know the notion of the legacy systems.
Right.
But at times it was kind of cool for me to see how the company is deploying cutting edge technologies. And it particularly pertains to the global leading financial institutions, how they were choking without having people having any knowledge about legacy systems, because in quite a few places, they still are deployed. And I would refer the same about the legacy, which is much more important, legacy of the people. Because as you correctly pointed, this relationship thing, this deployment of technologies sometimes causes sabotage. How do you make people embrace? How can you fight the silo attitude? protecting my department, my division against this other people, particularly new ones that are come with the new skills. It's a whole new slew of problems which we shall address next time. But Sarah, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I mean,
Always.
you and other heroes from Microsoft continue, and Orly Neary, I don't know if she is with us, but Orly, if you are, I mean, it pertains to you equally. I see your posts and your link, Orla Neary linked network. This is really fantastic, and I look forward to your participation in our next event. And thank you, Sarah. We'll continue, but now I'm so excited to launch our open mic part, where actually it was interesting how I asked people in the announcement to please indicate their interest in the open mic. Not a single person responded. But when they registered, and I personally invited some of the most interesting people, although all people are interesting, but I said most in sense of our topic, basically pretty much everyone wanted to participate. So today we have the first group of the daring, the brightest, and I'm so delighted to Eva Karno, who could not stay, was one of those who jumped in the first to talk about the AI agents. But we have Elaine Robichaud, and I'm sorry, Elaine, if you're on, and
Yes.
please correct me, but you really helped me a great deal with getting the right feeling
Yes.
about AI safety, and things you sent to me this morning really
Yes.
helped me to get ready for this event much better. So the
Yes.
floor is yours, and you each have 2-3 minutes, then you will be cut off, but you can then write to me and to Tom, and we will post your quotes and maybe incorporate some of them in the event video. So Elaine, thank you. The floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you all. Very interesting discussion. I'm in agreement with, because time is short, the whole disruptive aspect. What led me to
Can you
this
turn
point?
your video on?
No, I'm at the cottage right now, and I
Okay,
know
no
my
problem.
bandwidth is
No
limited.
problem. Go on.
Yes. Okay. So, long story short, I have very extended knowledge in science, so biochemistry, medicine, MBA, and finance. And I left Export Development Canada in a client-facing role at a high level of client interfacing financial solutions for major 500 companies. McKinsey & Company came in, and they were there for about 10 years. And they were talking about lean and automation. And we weren't even talking about integrating AI, but it was kind of the floor to prepare to that. What I'm hearing, and this is a bit what I'm worried about, how AI is coming, because AI has a lot of good things. And in the end, it's more about what I'm gathering here is that, yes, we need new skills. Yes, we need new systems. But we don't want to throw the bathwaters in regards to the networking, the old people-to-people networking, and mindset to make things happen, and then technology to come and bonify that. What I was seeing is that we were going through the crusher to automate systems where we were losing our DOA.
You have 1 minute left.
Yes.
And I
So
really
in the
ask you
end,
to
what
please
I see as a
mention
solution,
what you addressed this morning to me
yes,
about the
what I
net
see as a
zero.
solution
1
is
minute.
web. To me, it's Web3 in a sense that we have to build systems that are decentralized and where we're able to implement a narrow approach to AI integration so that it's organically done and in respect to the companies and organization and all level of governments to be able to reskill, to be able to adapt, and for the AI to actually supplement and bonify the system and not just come and remove people and then rehire with a big disruptive approach. So to me, in the end, it's Web3 hybrid approach, decentralization, and really having a mindset bottom up, taking the employee and what they bring as a human skill to the table.
You mentioned Joshua Bengio, and I want to mention his name because I think right now he's one of the global leaders
Yes.
who are really trying to move all of us in the right direction.
Yes.
We don't have the time to dive into this right now, but I want our participants to kind of take another look, and this is the direction where I hope we all will join forces and move on. Now, Kendrick White.
Hi, Helen. Hi, Helen. Listen, it's great to be here today, and I really appreciate you reaching out to me through LinkedIn. It's another example of networking, which I completely agree with the prior speakers about the importance of human networking. Should I go ahead and tell what I'd like to tell now?
Yes, you have up to 3 minutes and hopefully 2, because the group size of this coalition of the willing exceeded all of the expectations. We have a great crowd, so please go ahead and be brief.
You know, I've been a business angel investor in Russia for the last 30 years, and something like 15 years ago, I invested in a quantum computer element, a single photon generator to read qubits. And at that time, there were projections that it was going to take 40 or 50 years to make a quantum computer. Fast forward 15 years to today, we basically have quantum interconnection and all of this stuff, and it's leading to a quantum computer being paired with a regular supercomputer, which, if you think about it, quantum is like a probability machine versus a logical machine. It's like the left brain and the right brain. We're getting very close as humans to creating artificial general intelligence. Right now, today, young people are learning to interact with AI agents. Our generation, has to learn how to do that or fall behind. And I think that this young generation today very often is going to adapt to that. But there's going to be absolutely overwhelming amount of information in the internet and everywhere. And I think the most important skills for all of us is critical decision making, to assess, are we seeing something that's real or fake? And if we don't regulate AI to be able to indicate that we're speaking with an AI versus a real human, a lack of regulation is going to be
augment what doctors can do with us. And of course, robotics now, in some hospitals, maybe they already exist to help the nurses, but the human touch is irreplaceable. And it's great that the likes of IBM and Dr. Watson, from what I guess is still in existence.
No, we have sold it. We
You
have sold it. Yeah,
interesting.
because this is the business which has become a kind of a bulky thing, processing medical
in any
data.
event, I hate to interrupt you, but in any event, the idea was great. It remains great, and it's very helpful, particularly to the younger doctors and to the doctors who really want to see a big picture and save more lives, because what I can do to supplement the knowledge, because unfortunately, doctors have to spend less and less time with the patients. They are pressed to spend less time, and diseases don't go away. So AI is a great instrument to help the doctors provide better care. So with this, is Daniel Ragsdale with us? Daniel?
I am here. Can you hear me all right?
Okay, 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. I'm going to be
Up to 3.
2 minutes. I'm sorry, my
Up
time.
to 3.
Okay,
Up to 3.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay, very good.
And you look very
Still to be a
professional and
great
elegant.
discussion. Great
Yes.
discussion. And I have more than 2 minutes to say, so I'm going to speak fast. So first of all, we've been talking about skills throughout this call. Like, what skills does the workforce need? And I think we've settled on the following. We need intellectually curious, critical thinkers, and problem solvers. We still need that. We've always needed that. We need that even more now. And, we've all heard the old hack, don't you know, you're not going to be replaced by AI. You're going to be replaced by somebody that's using AI. So
Exactly.
we need to lean in. We need to lean in. All of us do, and understand the downsides, which I'm not going to enumerate from beginning to end. But there's a lot of potential downsides. Those we've talked about. This, you know, this job displacement and algorithmic bias and lack of transparency and privacy issues and ethical dilemmas and security vulnerabilities. They're all there. But nonetheless, we still have to lean in. And in my mind, this is not about the technology. It is not about the technology. It is about the challenge that is before us. This is about leadership, and this is about culture. And you know,
Oh,
culture.
big time.
Culture eats strategy for breakfast. You may have heard that. And really, it's a culture where we are empowering, not replacing. And it has to be
Okay.
authentic. It has to
Okay.
be genuine.
Um,
Yes, you were saying it?
Uh,
Okay.
Daniel, I thank you. Again, I'd like to repeat that everyone is welcome to send us quotes. You can send them to my LinkedIn message,
Okay.
and we'll try to integrate them in the video and the website.
Okay, good. Are
Dan,
you,
thank you.
are you,
Thank you. We're moving on. We have Mr. Rahid Alikberli, who miraculously I interacted with while on a trip to Azerbaijan, and we talked about AI in port infrastructure. Mr. Dr. Alikberli, are you with us?
Yes,
You
I am
would
here. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
good, good,
Yes,
good, good. Thank you for
great.
your patience. It's really late in Azerbaijan. Thank you for waiting.
No. It is great, to talk to you and first of all, learn from you. Therefore, here, I'm so happy, first of all, to see that AI, it is not a jargon anymore. It became just tool for everyone, and everyone can use it. And first of all, of course, it's not going to replace us. And as professors also mentioned about it, it is just, it became one of the part of our life. And also about Sarah's message, as she mentioned, AI is not going to have a coffee with us, but it is learning from us. And I think soon after this message, it will be having a coffee with us. And also, I want to mention about the technologies. So every wave of technology has looked, frightening at first: steam engines, electricity, the internet. Each time, instead of running out of work, we discovered new kinds of work. And today, AI, as well as, I'm so happy for quantum as well, and robotics don't eliminate human value, they redistribute it. And redistribution is a key here, and humans move up the value chain where creativity and judgment matter most. Just saving
Thank you
our
so
time.
much. Thank you. I'm so sorry to cut you off, but I apologize the head. We have such wonderful people who also want to share their ideas. And again, please send your quotes, your ideas, either to our LinkedIn message or just post on the event announcement so that everyone can see. This would be really great. So do we have Mr. Richelieu Cuyu? And I'm so sorry if I mispronounced.
Yeah, it's Rich LaCoy.
Yes, thank you. Sorry about really mispronouncing your name. I
That's not a
really
problem.
liked your notes. You have your 2-3 minutes. Please share.
Okay, so thank you for inviting me. With my notes is basically just to reiterate the point that when we talk about AI, quantum computing, and robotics, the concern that we have in terms of job losses and so on, if we look historically, it shows that with new technology or new wave of technology, it will create more jobs despite the displacement that we discuss here in terms of different type of job, better jobs, if anything, and more human-centric jobs. I think this is something that has been emphasized in the discussion so far. If we look at 5 years ago, there was no job such as prompt engineering. There was no job such as AI ethicist. And those are new jobs that are being created, augmented reality and etc., digital twin. So we need experts in those kind of fields. As long as we have the inquisitive nature of humans, we will always have that demand, and as we progress. So quantum computing is already opening new career opportunity within like AI algorithm designer and cryogenic engineers, quantum software developers, and so on, and so many more that are being named. And then we have to have some sort of proactive policy. This means that
Thank you for bringing this up. I was about to interject and ask our audience to please share your ideas about policy, because we have the policy which now promotes the technology. I hate the term rat race, but de facto that's what it is, just to be the first in developing technology. But then what do we do? What the policies are to deploy so that people are not left behind. So please, people, share your ideas about policy. And you have 30 seconds left. Richelieu.
No problem. Let me try.
30
So I
seconds
think
and
in
we
terms of
have to
proactive
move on,
policy,
but I look forward to your written remarks.
most definitely. So I think in terms of proactive policies, we need some sort of tax incentives. We need standard and health and safety framework to build trust globally. We need regional rescaling in terms of hubs that can be set up. And then we also need them portable benefits and lifelong, I would say, credits and so on that
I
encourages you to
insist that you
continue using
please
AI.
send it to us and post, when we will make the video available to everyone, there will be an announcement. Please post your ideas under the post to make sure that everyone can see. So we move on. Thank you. This
Thank you
is
for your
brilliant.
time.
Is Mr. Amra Zakaria Abdu with us? No. Jean Bosco Bukuru Sinani. Okay. Zahid Ulmazbayev. These are all the people who signed. How about Mr. Jaydeep Murthy?
Yeah, I'm here. Am I audible?
Oh, great. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I don't really have a lot of insight in terms of policy, but I can share from my own experience. Like I'm a 22-year-old right now, navigating through a transition from my last role, and yeah, and I believe that technology creates opportunities, and we need to turn this into action. And like it's been said before, right? Staying curious, identifying gaps, and then choosing the right resources and acting quickly. So, like Christopher said in the beginning of the meeting, every way from the Industrial Revolution to AI, right? The type of work changes, but jobs are being created, and we need to identify what type of jobs we can do. So, I don't want to take too much time, but I think a lot of students and a lot of other people right now, we're trying to identify what type of tools we can use and how to use them effectively. And my only advice for people watching this video online is like, if you're applying, yes, ATS is there, but learn how to quickly identify what you want to do, identify the tools and the software that's required, make those projects, and also build in public. Post what you're doing, publish what you're doing, and network. Network is the most important, like Sarah's mentioned. And yeah, that's what I'd like to share.
Sarah, you waved your hand. Does it mean that you wanted to interject?
No, I think that was my Zoom mistake. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
I would add, I would maybe just add to what some of the other speakers were saying is that, and the last speaker as well, is that you may think or have dreamed, oh, I'm going to go into this particular type of industry or role, but it may be that your skills are valuable in another type of industry. So I think either focusing on the industry or the companies you want to work for is helpful in a job search versus trying to just spam your resume out to like, thousands of, of different job applications. So like if you pick a few companies or a couple of industries, much easier to kind of narrow, like, who do you know in those industries? Do you have connections that have connections there? What are those roles? And kind of really get focused on your job search.
Thank you. Yara Fernandez, are you here with us? Yara?
Yes, I'm here.
Yara, you have now 2 minutes. I'm sorry, I have to cut because we still have lots of people and everyone's voice should be heard. 2
Okay,
minutes.
sure.
Yes,
Hi,
Yara.
I am part of an organization with a former U.S. diplomat. He was a child during the Great Depression, lived through World War II, and was a diplomat during the space race. He taught foreign service officers the importance of understanding different cultures and conflict resolution, and he also trained the U.S. Navy. So as long as there's two humans in a room and they talk for hours every day, 365 days a week, eventually they're going to find something they don't agree with. So conflict resolution is something that will never completely be automated. Being able to expose yourself to different cultures, different perspectives can help you in networking, can help you in building relationships, because conflict is something that is uniquely human that AI cannot do the way we do. So if you want to future-proof your career, what I personally do, I enjoy talking to people from a lot of different cultures, learning new languages. I don't expect to be fluent. And I always talk to people who are different than me, and I'm always exposing myself to different opinions. So I hope that that might give some insight. Yeah.
This is a perfect insight. And I think this should be somehow integrated into policies. This is what we lack globally right now. There is such a dire need for conflict resolution pretty much everywhere. And, I respectfully disagree slightly. I would use AI for ideas on what kind of arguments, what are the components of the conflict? How can it be resolved from kind of a unbiased point of view? And then I would use my own logic and my own heart to actually be fair and have compassion and be compelling when I have negotiations. But brilliant insights. Thank you so much, Sara. And do we have Jingesh Vaidia? Moving to Vanessa Stiefler-Klaus. Okay. Kayan, you were here from the beginning. Are you still with us? Kayan? Louis?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good
I'm gonna
afternoon.
I love everything I've heard. This is wonderful. I'm a supporter of Helen and Tom, and I just want to say to everybody that definitely continue to join these conferences because this is how we learn. This is how we grow wherever you are in your life. I'm an artist, so I have to come from that point. I started my own business. It hasn't brought any clients yet, but about a year I've been learning a lot about AI generative. So I love Google. I love everything that they're doing because if you just spend one day, those people that are artists, to see how you can use your skills you have, or you're trying to learn, you spend one day on their website with the tools they offer to let you introduce you to. If you're into filmmaking, audio, or any kind of art, you can produce a whole book. I have a book, and Helen knows about my passions. I do AI custom avatars. I made an avatar of the subject matter of a person that is not real, but I'm a photographer as well. So I was able to create an ideal model where she could represent my brand and she could represent things I'm going forward with in terms of, animating her and the different things we do artistically. But I just want to encourage whatever age you are, whatever you do, just find a way to use the tools and promote that in a business or even helping other people as a service, and you'll get by. You'll be okay. I'm retired, so I can say that. You'll be to have a business. And that's all I have to say because everybody else that you all
I
doing, you're doing
invited you,
tremendous work
Kayan,
in what you're
because
doing.
I was so inspired by what you were able to do. after retiring, you completely reinvented yourself, created such a fun business. I saw your avatars, and particularly for young people, this is amazing how retired people can find common language with the youth. And I think this is a great, great way to reconnect. And we do need this in a very conflicted world. So is Mr.
Thank you,
Lefko
Helen.
gone? Is Mr. Lefko gone? I think he excused himself via message. We're running a little bit behind. Marie Delphine, are you with us or not?
Yes, I am, Helen. And first
Yes.
off, thank you so much for your heart, because you have so much heart and consciousness to help this society get along with the transition and the seismic changing going along. And I know that you feel for the people losing their jobs. What I want to say is that we are in transition right now, in a major, unprecedented human transition. It's not about just businesses, it's not just about AI. We're going between two worlds. The old world, where the financial metrics ruled the world, where we were slaves. So when people, there's a lot of fear mongering because it's just a human condition right now to be afraid of change. And we all are at different stages of development and functioning different ways. So yes, I agree. It's about curiosity. It's about adapting to change. But a lot of people can't do that on 8 billion people on the planet. So AI is just introducing an idea. And what I like to say, it's changing the old world system. And you've got on one side the industries, the business side of it, where leadership needs to bring ethic and values in systems and need to change their mindset towards collaboration, and also understand that new financial metrics go with IP strategy and data. Therefore, marketing and business strategies and many other aspects of the business will evolve. But the most important thing, Helen, and that's where I applaud you, is our human condition change. So there's a lot of fear mongering because people are afraid of change. A lot of people on their pedestal identifying with money and a title are afraid because they're going to lose that. And they don't want to lose their powers. So that fear mongering is BS. AI is here to help us to reduce the time for us in our work, to do the work in a more efficient way. We can be
I
humans.
hate to interrupt you, and I want you to know that what you told me and the feedback I just received is so heartwarming. I can't thank you enough, because if you could only imagine how much work was put into organizing this, you would cry for me.
Your work is very important because we need to bring
I hope
tools.
it's okay. So we have to move on, and we have, do we have Gary Moore? Gary. Narendra Kaur.
I'm here.
Oh, Gary, please go ahead. We nearly lost you.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Helen. I truly appreciate being here. My name is Gary Moore. I'm the founder of Nova Quantum Labs. I'm, in essence, an inventor, but my background is in sales, and I worked at DC government, where I was a program support specialist. So most of the work that I've done in my life has always been public facing. And with the work that I did at DC, we found ourselves through, I was working with a program called Acela. So we dealt with thousands of emails, hundreds of calls, and office visits. And it's a position that requires you to be solution oriented, because you're always faced with various different issues from one thing to the next. And so when I sit here and I listen, and I'm listening to the different issues that people are bringing up, I'm hearing those pain points. But what happened with me over a period of time is I realized that you have to go from problem to solution. So naturally, my mind automatically looks and sees things from the standpoint of being solution oriented. And so
I'm
I just wanted to.
interrupting you, Gary. I'm terribly sorry. We're out of time. What I am asking you to do, to please send us your solution in writing. so that everyone can see. This would really be very helpful. Narinder Kaur, are you with us or not?
Yeah. Hi, Helen. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a great session and great to see Sara and many other folks here. I'm ex-Microsoft too, 30 years at Microsoft, and before that at Honeywell and another consulting company. So for me, the main topic is like, yeah, we are in a time of change and it's disruptive and it's scary. But like if you think about robots, right, like it created a lot of opportunities, like in manufacturing as industrial robots, or in logistics and warehouse, or in healthcare when we go for like surgical robots, right? So there are opportunities that it created where it supplemented or augmented or made the streamline the jobs, right? Like robotics, and it's creating new jobs too, like for automation or for like, ensuring you can supervise the robots and you can train the robots. Same way for AI. In the last 2 years, it has taken off, and we are seeing some replacement or some displacement of the jobs, but it has created new experiences, right? It has created new jobs where it's streamlining, like in customer experiences, customer services, where you can use AI to kind of use natural language to like get your answers, or you can use, or the health the customer service agents can be more impactful with your personalized history, right? Even in healthcare, like you said, like doctors are giving you more time because they're using AI for scribing, right? Or there are the things where you can get the personalized medicine like way easier. And same thing in other areas like, computer programs, AI is helping you as co-pilots, or you are in finance for like, fraud finding and everything.
Can I
So it's
interrupt you and ask
creating,
you a question,
yeah,
Narinder? You worked at Microsoft for so long.
sure.
What do you think organizations should do to help people and, to reskill practically? And what kind of government policies have to be in place? Very briefly, and then I will ask you if you will share it in writing, but if you could say a few words now, it would be great.
Yeah, I think policies is a great topic. I really believe that we have to ensure, like, we are using AI in really fair, unbiased, responsible way. Because we are like, the 3 stages of AI. There is a narrow intelligence, general intelligence, and super intelligence. I worry about that if we don't use it in the right way, it could be a downfall as well, right? Kind of the things. But I really believe we have to regulate the use of AI, and the opportunities are huge, right? And second thing that you asked is how can big organizations can. It's also creating like opportunities where we have to train people, right? People have to be open, curious, able to reskill, right? Because and those are the things that we should all collectively do. I think it's both the training to use the AI, robotics, and quantum in the right way, and then have policies to regulate it, right? Because the opportunity is huge, the risks are huge too. Some people said on how good the AI can have the deep fakes, or have security issues, right? Some people are talking about the bias, right? Totally agree. It can create a lot of the bias if you don't use the right data sets, right? Kind of the things. So I would say, we have a tremendous responsibility and a tremendous opportunity here. It reminds me of the era of internet when I started my work at Microsoft. Now we all live in connected world. We can't even think when there is no internet, right? Even this meeting is like we are connected, distributed, right? So, but it displaced some jobs at that point, but it also streamlined, it augmented the jobs, it created new innovation, right? So I see like AI, robotics, and quantum doing the same thing. It's going to be disruptive. It will displace a few jobs, but if we use it responsibly, if we use it creatively, if we don't let our critical thinking go away, and we have right policies, right guardrails, I think we'll be in a better position in the future.
Thank you so much. Very insightful. I guess Eric Litwak is gone. He apologized. I saw the message. Is he off? Lucia Ardones Gamero. Lucia asked me to send a link, I think a couple of times. We met at the committee with the Republic meeting yesterday, she made very interesting remarks about AI agents. And I think we shall have a special event about AI agents next time because it's a very, very important topic. And there is a lot of fear that agents are now taking away jobs from humans and they're going independently. And this bears very, very significant risks. Tom, what do you think about our discussion? What do you, would like to share in sense of what is your vision on policies and what we as humans can do to preserve, our sustainability and meaning in life?
Well, I mean, it comes down to the idea of a lot of the people here, Christopher included, although I think he's gone. But, it's kind of like all jobs are not going to be lost. People really need to learn to use AI because if they don't, they're going to become less relevant within the job market. They have to learn how to use it the proper way because if you're only using just like a Google search where you say, give me this thing here, that's not going to be enough. One person, I can't remember who it was, but was saying about the fact that there's prompt engineers, and that's so you can have reliable, accurate information. You can like if you want a document to sound more like you, or even doing the research for it, you can upload previous things that you've written and it will learn how to speak like you. So there's so many layers of depth that can go within this that, it's important for people to really learn it.
Absolutely, I can't agree with you more. Although how interesting it was when Dr. Impulsky said that even prompt engineering as a profession is also going away. So it's very difficult to catch up, but I think still positively possible. Do we have anybody else who we either forgot or who wants to have 30 seconds in closing? Wave your hand. Well, I would like to thank you all so very much. You shared the most precious commodity, your time with us today to contribute to, good for the people, because I continue to believe that having jobs is something that makes our life meaningful. It's so important not to overlook the right policies, because that's where I personally see gaps at the moment. With so much technology progress, we have such a dearth, such a lack of meaningful policies that can not just protect, but support people, support humanity for everyone's good. Because once people are unemployed and crime rises, wars start, economic consequences are really dire. So thank you all so very much. Thank you, Tom. And of course, thank you, our speakers. Yes, Tom?
Gary Moore has his hand raised.
Okay, Gary, 30 seconds. We can't hear you, you're muted.
I'm sorry for going on script there earlier. I believe AI's true purpose is to be a complexity killer. I think that what you're going to see is that from the pessimistic person to the most optimistic, those fears and perspectives, someone's going to sit back and listen, and they're going to innovate from those situations. Like when they were talking about ATS, that's a big problem. But someone's going to look at that, and they're going to use AI to solve that problem. So from one end of the spectrum to the other, AI is going to definitely be there, and it's going to bring back the natural human inclination just to dream and to visualize things, and so listen to each other closer. and to pay closer attention, because it's the focus and the execution of those solutions is what's going to make our society better. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you. I saw Bradley waving hand, or was it just kind of, do we have Bradley trying to say a few words?
Well, I was just can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I was thanks Kendrick for inviting me, but no, it's been very good. I work at a Fortune
I'm
5
glad.
company in regulatory, and I use AI all the time. And I think a lot of what's been said is great here. I would say, I think, as somebody who spent a lot of time doing US-Russia relations, I've always thought AI was one of those technologies that needs to be kind of not necessarily regulated, but cooperate. There, you have to find a way to collaborate at a global level, or we're going to have adversarial, fragmented systems. And you certainly don't want to have, especially given the geopolitical things. I really hope our leaders can find a way to help kind of address these issues at a global level in a cooperative way, so AI can be used as a good thing, not a dystopian thing. And
Absolutely.
generally, as far as business, I think people just have to use AI and get grounded in it. And it's an iterative process, and you can't trust it fully, but at the same time, it's getting better and better all the time and way faster than people think. And if people can just accept that it's part of our life and augment their work to, I think what did you say, crush the complexity. And there's so many good things if we can do it right together, at a global level and a local level and a company level and a team level.
The key word I just heard from you is together. It's one of the reasons why I came up with an idea for an open mic, and Tom Testi has been incredibly supportive, so we worked as a team to organize this. One of the small details, some of you might have noticed that one of the slides that I had, in addition to our main announcement, was a man and a robot and a small clock. I'm inspired right now by the example of the doomsday clock, which was created to measure the time remaining for the nuclear event. And I humbly believe that AI, and of course other technologies that we discussed today, have the potential to create even greater risks. I mean, at least equally dire risks. So I invite all of you to join our community to continue this meaningful discussion, to come up with the recommendations to our respective governments and to our respective organizations and institutions, to take a look, I would say, a critically new look into policy creation, education reform, and reskilling, so that nobody is left behind, no matter where you are geographically, how old you are, what your talent level is, because we all need to continue working. I don't like the word employment. This is an occupation. In addition to families, religions, our feeling fulfilled, satisfied is equally important for our happiness. So with this, I invite you all to continue being engaged with us so we can come up with the collective recommendations and help make our world better. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining us today. Goodbye.